Well, today is day 259 in our journey through the Word. Uh, that's just exciting for me to know that I've been on this journey. Hopefully, that you have as well for 259 days, and just again, we're just several days away from concluding the Old Testament and moving into what we've been reading about, the promises of the promise of the coming Messiah being fulfilled in the New Testament, and those are exciting days ahead. In our reading today, I'm reminded that God hears our prayers. In Ezra 8:23 said, "So we fasted and earnestly prayed that our God would take care of us, and he heard our prayer." There was another account, and I had to go back. I looked back. It was out of our reading back on September the 10th, out of Daniel 10, verse 12, when the messenger from the Lord said to Daniel, then he said, "Don't be afraid, Daniel. Since the first day you began to pray for understanding and to humble yourself before your God, your request has been heard in heaven." Just promises of hope for us that God hears our prayers. When we come before him, he hears our prayers. And you may think, well, how can God hear my prayers and John's prayers and Paige's prayers and Josh's prayers and all the prayers of the people at the same time? But we can't limit God because of our limitations. He is God. And he promises, he does not miss one word. When we come before him, God hears our prayers, and he earnestly heard our prayers. The words of Ezra. His prayer of praise, his prayer for guidance, his prayer for protection. God heard Ezra's prayer. God heard Daniel's prayers. God heard David's prayers. God hears Mark's prayer. God hears your prayers. Every word. And reminded that God puts things into motion according to his plan. He wants us to earnestly bring our request to him. He hears those. We also see in today's reading where God's people are getting ready to make their journey home from exile. And they come to a point where they have been telling the people in Babylon that our God protects those who worship him. But now they were in a difficult spot. They had a long journey home. And they had to decide, do we ask the Babylonians to give us troops to escort us home, to protect us on our way home? Or do we trust God? And they chose to be a witness to the Babylonians. And they prayed to God for protection. And they struck out on their own. And we saw in today's reading, they carried a great wealth with them. And God protected them all the way home. And every piece of that wealth that was brought was accounted for. God provided for them on their journey, and God protected them on their journey. And God promises the same for you and me. God will provide. God will protect. He will give us what we need. He will give us what we need. So the words out of Ezra 8:23 again, the key verse that I wrote down for today was, so we fasted and earnestly prayed that our God would take care of us. And he heard our prayer. It's a testimony that we can share with others as well. Take a look back in your life of where you have prayed to God. And look how, it may not be exactly what you wanted, but look how God led you in your journey. And he protected you. And he provided for you. Praise the Lord for his constant protection, for his constant provision. I must remember to trust him in all of those things. Great words of hope for us as we enter into this weekend. And he heard our prayers. I hope those are words of encouragement to you as well. I hope you have a great weekend, and we will see you again tomorrow as we continue our journey, or again on Monday as we continue our journey